What's going on, everybody? What a glorious day. Episode 90 for Movie Talks, the only
Jesus.
podcast you need for all your movie news, movie reviews, and more. So, we got a big lineup, big lineup. We are swinging into action with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Oh, we
Yep.
like that one. And yeah, something
You've
to,
used that before.
nope. And something to sink your teeth into, which is the newest horror
Hmm.
comedy by Abigail. And then
Yeah.
we've also got a group of the Gentlemen of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Nope.
Nope, I said gentlemen too many times. It's the Ministry of
That's
Ungentlemanly Warfare, Guy Ritchie.
so fair, considering how many times I got the name wrong as well.
Yeah,
The title of my the notes on my Google Drive, my notes for movies, is Gentleman Warfare something something.
yeah.
Who the
So,
fuck? Stupid fucking name.
which is Guy Ritchie's telling of the what was the operation? It's been told a few times. It's like Operation Postman something or other about the yeah. We'll get into it. I'll find
Yep.
exactly what it is, but it
Yep.
is Guy
Sure.
Ritchie's version of telling the really cool story, the true life war one. But yeah,
Sure.
we'll get into that one. But
We will.
movie news. Guess who is back in action after 10 years away in a new Netflix comedy, which will be starring Jamie Foxx? Who do you reckon the co-star is going to be? 10 years away from the screen.
Man or woman?
Woman was in Charlie's
10 years
Angels,
from the
Bad
screen.
Teacher.
Oh, Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, right.
returning back
Good
in
on her.
action. Netflix's newest one. Looks, we'll see. We'll see.
I love her. She's great. She's
She's
actually
good.
fucking hilarious, even off screen.
Yeah, we'll see. And Donnie Yen to return as Kane in John Wick spin-off movie. So was he the blind guy?
Who was his name?
Donnie Yen.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh,
Sounds
I
like a blind
mean,
Asian man's name. I don't remember, but it
sure.
sounds like his name. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So that could be interesting. Andrea Garfield is in talks to star alongside Julia Roberts in The Hunt. Could be interesting. So it's trying to catch our
Julia
breath.
Roberts.
Mm,
He still exists.
yeah. Yeah. She was massive though for a long time. Long, long
Yeah,
time.
that's what I mean.
Yep. So could be cool. There is a new Oz movie, which a new trailer has come out. Ariana Grande is in
What
it.
is odds?
Oz, like Wizard of Oz.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I do remember
yep,
that actually.
yep. This is a new trailer out. Looks very Oz-ified.
Looks
I
very
don't know.
ossified.
Like the all the stylistic greeting Maleficent angry lady and the pretty princess. That's what it looks like. Looks like more of the same.
Is Ariana Grande playing? Like, are they doing like a retelling, or is
Yeah,
it a?
nearly 100 years later in the
No,
wonderful
so it's not a retelling. It's like a sequel.
yeah, yeah. Do
Okay.
you know what is getting a sequel? Roadhouse, which is Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor's one.
Yeah, righto.
Yeah, we still haven't watched that.
Roadhouse.
Yeah,
No, I haven't
no,
planned to.
no. Two bits of news, which your favorite director and my current
I love when you
favorite
start with that.
and my favorite actress at the moment. It is Edgar Wright is in talks to direct with
Mm,
Sydney Sweeney in the Barbarella reboot.
very interesting.
Mm, mm.
First of all, no one asked for a Barbarella reboot, but I mean,
Yeah.
look, I
I
love
mean,
Edgar Wright. I'm starting to like Sydney Sweeney. Still not totally on board with
mm,
her yet, but
mm.
the past couple of things she's made hasn't just been shit. Like the first couple of things I saw her in.
You're on the train.
Yeah,
Do 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 do
on the
Sweeney.
train. I
Yeah.
told you that last time. I'm on the station. I'm standing there looking at the train approaching. I'm still not quite on board, but I see it.
Toot toot. Get on board, mate.
Toot toot.
Here's your ticket. All
Here's
right.
your ticket.
And Sydney Sweeney is also to play in the Trailblazer boxer Christy Martin in the new biopic. So she's going to play the boxer, the first female
Yeah,
professional
which
boxer. I think we spoke about it slightly last week.
we
But
have, yeah, but I can't see her as a boxer. But again, I didn't really predict her to do a horror and stuff either. So
yeah,
I don't know. Again, she might keep impressing me.
yeah,
This could be the
yeah.
one where I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
she's fucking great. Or this could be the one where I'm like, okay, she needs to stop trying everything. We'll see.
Step on board, mate. Take the leap. Take the leap.
Step on board.
And then we've also got the last bit, which is Sigourney Weaver is in talks to join the Mandalorian and Grogu. Bom, bom, bom. So what that'd
They
be?
need to
That'd be
stop making Mandalorian films.
season 4 now, I reckon. I reckon that's where they're
Yeah,
up
just
to.
let it die.
Mm,
I don't know.
might,
I don't know
might
what
be.
the viewership's like. Are they still getting good numbers?
I think they still are. I think Mandalorian's probably. Oh, there's the Acolyte. This is the new one coming, which looks pretty cool.
Mm,
Which is the um early Republic, like Knights of the Republic timeline, like early Star Wars, which is cool. Like
okay.
they have such. I just want a Revan and Malik like story, like based from the games. Remember Knights of the Old
From the
Republic?
Republic. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So good. Like Revan's like so deep in the lore, and so's Malik.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's so cool. And then you can go into the Mandalorian Wars as well. Ah, there's heaps that they can do there.
Ah.
Ah, ah, ah. I'm in. I'm in. I'm sold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
All
can
right.
see the attraction. I know people like whenever you look at lists of like best Star Wars games, it's either Battlefront 2 or Knights of the Old Republic as number one every single time.
Knights of the Republic was so good. Even though if you don't like the combat, it's like the story is so good.
Mm,
That was like peak BioWare.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'd say peak BioWare is Mass Effect, but I can see it.
Yeah, that
Same sort of period, I suppose.
I mean their big three was Knights of the Republic, Mass Effect, and Dragon Age. That was like
Yeah, I never played Dragon Age. I know
oh
you
drag
love it.
oh so good. I've played them all.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. All right, let's swing into our newest Planet of the Apes, which is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is the second, well, it's going to be the second trilogy. So obviously we've got the,
Yeah.
I guess, not going into all the old films. It's the second trilogy that's coming up. So this is set after the reign of Caesar. So it's, I can't remember
Hmm.
exactly how long it was. It was like a couple of 100 years or something. I remember I said a few.
Yeah, they said a few generations, so
Yeah.
it's been yeah, a while.
Yeah, a little while. And this is when the virus or the mutation has made the apes smarter and the humans to degress? Is that the right word?
Sure.
Degrade? Yeah, whatever.
Devolve, maybe? I don't know.
Evolve, yeah, where they're unable to talk and
Hmm.
they're not the same. So it's pretty much the role reversal. So the apes are taken over, and then the humans are just there being kind of apes, I guess, if you want to. It's just role reversal, role reversal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sort of
So,
point out now, I hate the fucking naming conventions of these movies.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you call
Not
it?
a fan. No,
What do
I
you
don't
call
know.
it?
Just the constant like we got like since the beginning, it's Planet of the Apes, Beneath Planet of the Apes, Escape from Planet of the Apes, Conquest Planet of the Apes, Battle for Planet of the Apes, Rise of Planet of the Apes, Dawn Planet of the Apes, War for Planet of the Apes, Kingdom Planet of the Apes. Like, surely we don't need Planet of the Apes in the movie, in the name, sorry,
I
every
mean,
single time.
I think they're staying with the original names as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I get it. It's been like that since the 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
But so I don't it just seems a bit Fast and Furious now. Like I know it's probably the opposite because Fast and Furious goes ridiculous with the naming conventions, but I don't know. It just seems silly at this point.
Okay.
But
Okay. So this is many years after the reign of Caesar. A young ape goes on a journey that will lead him to question everything he's been taught about the past and make choices that will define a future for the apes and humans alike. Dun, dun, dun. So,
sure.
a few generations after Caesar and the big battle that happened, we are set up where the apes have started their own colonies and they've got their own customs. So, the custom that we're looking at, we're following Noah, and then we've got Nova as well, which is the human that we discover. So they're our two, but Nova is the chimp that we're following throughout. He's
Noah.
going Noah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I not call him that?
Noah's a chimp. Yeah, you said
Yeah.
Nova.
No. Nova's that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you said Noah and then Nova correctly, and then you went back to saying doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Noah is the chimp we're following. He's coming up. He's got to do the I guess the defining moment where they got to climb up to be able to get their hawk, and their hawk's like the defining symbol of
Mm,
this clan of apes
which is
or
cool.
tribe of apes, whatever.
Yeah, they're like a tribe that's like coexists with eagles and uses them, and
Yeah.
it's pretty sweet. I'm down with it.
Yeah. Ooh. So he's doing that. He's doing his like rite of passage, trying to get his hawk. He's like kind of like the prodigal son, I guess, in this. Like he's looked after by the keeper of the birds, and is like, you know, you got to do this. And then he meets the human Nova, and then Nova is revealed that she's able to talk, so she's different to the other humans. And then it sets off into a quest of, oh, maybe everything I've been taught, which after a couple of generations, like word of mouth, they're not like writing
Hmm.
things down. So bits and pieces do change, which is kind of cool. I like how it all unfolds, and they've done really well with the environments to show like the decay and the interactions where the apes have then left their own sort of spin on
Yeah,
things, and the
yeah,
human
yeah,
human side starts to decay, which I think was cool.
yeah.
I
Same. Like straight away, seeing that train track at the beginning was like, oh, okay. This is it's a nice little reminder that this is still in our world, just post-apocalypse sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I love post-apocalypse, so I think that's it. It scratches the itch in my brain properly, but I still think they relied too heavily on it at times where they
Oh,
could have
massive.
done some really cool, like actual, really interesting film locations and stuff, and they just relied heavily on us going, oh look, that used to be a building.
Oh, well, yeah. So this whole premise is mainly about resetting up for another trilogy. So obviously we've had
Yeah.
the downfall of humanity and the rise of the apes. And then this one, which it struggles with because it's got to set up a whole new like three movies where it just felt like they were giving too much focus on connecting Nova and Noah. So I felt like
Yes,
that they spent too long focusing on that where they
I
could have
agree.
been like there's bigger things that they want to get into. Like there was different factions. So like we meet the
Mm.
factions of you've got the gorilla leader. He's like so cool. I love the
Raka, what was his name? It wasn't Raka. Raka was his friend.
yeah,
Yeah, the big gorilla one, the
yeah,
with the fucking taser.
yeah. Like they've got some human like remnants of their technology.
Hmm.
And like there's another clan that follow Proximus Caesar,
Proximus. Yeah,
and like they could have focused more on the different
I
clans and
agree.
them taking over.
Yep.
That would have been cooler than just spending as much time with Noah and Nova and building them.
Hmm.
But like Nova could have been used just to show that there's more out there to the humans. Like not all humans have digressed into not being able to talk.
I think say that for the next movie. I think this movie should have been. This movie is about reestablishing a new main character. Caesar, we got attached to Caesar with three movies. We loved him. Now Caesar's influence has created religion amongst the apes, which is cool as hell. Really cool concept.
Yep.
Um, this movie needed to be all about Noah, and the parts with Noah were pretty good. I think any part with Nova just took away from the Noah scenes and should have been for the next movie. I don't think any humans should have been in this one personally.
Okay. I feel like they could have delayed her interaction, so they could have like built up Nova and the factions and him like starting to question things and seeing the clans go at each other a little bit, and then you could
Mm,
have had Nova come in and be like, not all humans can't talk, etc. And then it would have been set up for the second movie where it was like, here's the remnants of the human technology where
yeah,
they find a hard drive. Yeah. Look,
I can see that, but I felt like the strongest parts were seeing Noah and his mates run around and him trying to rescue his family and like that. Because this is all about. I feel like this because this movie and all Planet of the Apes movies, the Caesar movies, have been about the apes' perspective,
Mm.
and it felt like Nova was an afterthought of them going, oh, but humans won't connect with the ape characters. You need to have a human character in there, someone people to connect with. And it was also fucking, my problem with always having attractive action stars.
Yeah.
Um, so I just felt like it was an afterthought, and they could have just had the whole story told through the ape perspective and made us connect with Noah. But
Okay.
I just
Yeah.
didn't like her. I felt like she was a waste, and she made the movie longer than it needed to be.
Yeah, definitely there was some scenes. I didn't mind it. I quite liked that there was the
Fair.
human bunker that the apes couldn't get into, and like their whole religion was about like following Caesar and getting into it, and like we'll be stronger next day.
Yeah,
Watch
that
out,
bunker
boy.
didn't need to have. We didn't need to see humans so that bunker exists.
No, but she gave it a little bit more weight that they were trying to get into, and then obviously the setup where she gets a hard drive and they contact other human settlements. I didn't mind that. It
Mm,
brings in another, but they didn't really set up like the other, I guess, tribes or factions of the apes. Like if you're looking at the further, like the old movies, and you're looking at, say,
mm.
like, was it Tim Burton? I feel like Tim Burton did the Mark Wahlberg one.
Mark
Pretty.
Wahlberg.
Remember Mark Wahlberg did like there was a new one, not like the
Oh,
trilogy, but
2001 one.
yeah, where
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
where he goes back, he goes in from the being a spaceman and then comes into it. Like,
Yeah, it was Tim Burton.
yeah, like the apes have fully set up the settlement, and it's like they're further advanced. They've got their like full hierarchies and stuff. Where
Yeah.
we're not into that time period yet. Like, there'd be a hierarchy of the apes settlements and stuff.
Hmm.
Like, they could have focused a
Yeah,
little bit more on that. Like,
I agree. Get rid of
focus.
humans. Say that. Say that for the sequel.
I don't know that you need to get rid of humans, because the humans could have been like just doing whatever the apes wanted them to. Like they could have been the servants or whatever. And then
Mm.
you could have had towards the end the introduction of like Nova and the humans, but like focus majority of the film
Yeah, if you want
on
to set the sequel up, sure, but
on
don't
the
introduce
rise.
her in Act One
No,
and have this little side story that didn't really connect with the main story. Like they tried
yeah,
it too, but
they tried to. Like it
anyway,
wasn't as
I can see your
polished.
perspective. I just don't think
Yeah,
she'd be in it.
okay, yeah, it wasn't as polished as the other ones. Like
No,
this struggled to really give that sort of sense of, I guess, urgency, or like that really grand esque. Like it, I
it's high
found,
stakes.
yeah, like I found the other ones really engaging. Like the other three films, I was like, yep, hooked in. This I was like mostly hooked in, but I didn't have the same level of like, yeah, come on. Like I guess that might be the connection, because like CZ got real attached to. Like you
Exactly. Yeah.
saw Caesar like grow from the lab and etc.
Yep.
Yeah, like I don't know. It was something. I don't know if it was them not spending enough time like establishing the ape tribes and stuff, because like them following the hawks was kind of like we follow the hawks or the eagles or
Hmm.
whatever they are, and then it was like
Hmm.
the eagles will accept you, etc. I was like, okay. I would have liked to see how you establish that. I spend a little
That's
bit
not my
more
point.
time. Yeah,
Exactly why I think we needed more. Like the whole film should have been told through the perspective of Noah and just
yeah,
followed him and because the whole idea of like their tribe evolving with eagles is really fucking cool. And then yeah, I just feel like partway through we change perspective and it's time wasted when because the whole first one is from like the whole first one, the whole Rise Planet of the Apes is from Caesar's perspective.
mhm,
And that's why you by the end of even by the end of the first movie you feel so connected to Caesar. Whereas I felt a little bit of that with Noah. And I'm not excited, but I'm like, yeah, the next one could be kind of interesting.
yeah,
But no, I think I needed more Noah, all Noah. The whole movie should have been through Noah,
yeah,
watching him in, like meet the new factions and
yeah,
do it met like what three different factions and well of apes anyway, and they
yeah,
seem really unique. Like that's really cool.
yeah. Yeah, like I want more information of the like the Proximus Caesar, like, what
Yeah,
a wonderful day. That was such a cool scene. I loved it.
yeah.
And all
I
the
love
apes are going
seeing,
off.
yeah, like the adaptation of religion and how Caesar is basically ape Jesus in this, which I really think is really interesting. And yeah, how different people have taken the teachings of Caesar and adapted it. It's like the different, how different Christianities teach the different ways of Jesus. It's
Yeah.
really interesting. Like I like that sort of look on religion.
I also love how they've got the different movements down pat, like to the different like between chimps, gorillas,
Yeah,
and like orangutans. Like
yeah.
their movements are so good, and they're so varied.
It looks incredible.
It's not just people like the old school ones where they just got like a mask on. You're like, oh, okay,
Yeah, and they just walk around like people.
yeah,
Yeah, these like there are some times where I was like, oh, that's CG, but for the most part, it's pretty fucking incredible. And like especially the close-ups, the like the detail they have in the skin textures and the faces and everything. Like
yeah.
yeah, it's really, really impressive.
Just like the chimpanzee movement, so good, and the gorilla movement, where they're like shorter limbs, like bigger, stockier, and the chimps are like quick, like agile, and then you got the orangutans that are like a little bit slow, sway movements. It's just so good.
The consistency of fucking horse strength is crazy. There's a scene where I forget who it Noah and Nova are on the horse, and the gorilla character has grabbed the horse and it's like getting dragged behind the horse. Like a horse could not carry the weight of a human, an ape, and then drag along a gorilla as well.
Oh, especially if a gorilla's pulling them down. Like a
Yeah.
I've seen an orangutan twist open a coconut. Like
Yes.
just pop, like
Just oh yeah.
like
Yeah, like a
no,
kinder.
yeah, no issue. And
Yeah.
gorillas are stronger. So could you imagine like a gorilla pulling them down? Ah,
Yeah.
ridiculous, ridiculous. But
It's pretty silly.
yeah, I'm also surprised they use horses. I don't know why they use horses. Because
Well,
like,
I mean, it's all about the evolution of man as well. Well,
yeah,
human, I
yeah,
should
yeah,
say.
I get it. But like chimps and gorillas and stuff, they're like pretty quick.
Not as quick as a horse.
No, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Getting bogged down in detail. But like
I like
overall,
to tell.
okay, okay. Overall, I had a good time. It wasn't as good as the previous trilogy, but
No, not yet.
there was enough there that I was like, yeah, I'm excited for it. And they didn't just mess it up. Because like when you go into say I really like the original trilogy. I really like the original Star Wars trilogy. And then when you
Hmm.
go to the next trilogy, it's like you're either gonna stuff it or it's gonna be good for excited. Where like
Yeah.
the Star Wars one, I was like, oh, that wasn't that good. But this one, I was like, they did okay. They did okay. They just focused too
Yeah.
heavily on some aspects.
I didn't love it. I have problems. Yeah. Like it feels more like an action blockbuster, whereas none of the Caesar trilogy felt like an action blockbuster. War a little bit, but they had more to say about like the more to say about like how they need to evolve and sort of like what they stand for and what they're sort of like there's a lot of like ideologies about life and what it means to coexist with the earth and blah blah blah. Like there's a lot of commentary, whereas this felt more just like an action movie at times. Like they were just almost hitting action story bits, and that to me
Okay.
isn't fucking interesting. Like they're going for a summer blockbuster now, where I felt like War was a bit like that, but I felt like the last trilogy wasn't about that. Wasn't about being a fucking action movie.
Well, I think they had to step it up a little bit because it was like the down after the war. They got to build up to something.
I don't know. I'm just worried that this is going to become more of like a another fucking King Kong or another Godzilla movie where it's just hitting action story beats. Every 15 minutes need an action scene. Like that's what this sort of felt like at points where we get
Okay.
a little bit of talking and then need an action scene. Why are these characters fighting? Because it's time.
Okay.
The script says it's time for an action scene. Like there are problems with it, and the whole Nova thing. She didn't be in the movie. Give me more of Noah and his friends and his family. Like I liked his little story and what he was trying to do and whatever, but the rest of it, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have problems.
Fair. Fair. Look, I had a wonderful day watching it. So I was like, it's a
I'm
three point
glad.
five. It's a 3.5. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Like I was expecting a little bit more, and it was just not focused on the building of the ape civilizations. That's what I wanted to see.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and same. That's because we're jumping ahead in the timeline to when they're starting to establish their own little clans and stuff. Like we saw a bit of that in not Rise. Was between Rise and War? Forget now. I forget the fucking sequence. Doesn't matter. The second of the last trilogy, had a little bit of
Dawn
like
is Dawn.
Dawn. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, see a little bit of them like starting to create clans and stuff, and like that's what I really like. That's what I want to see more of in this one. I want to see sort of yeah, but yeah. Look, there are parts I liked and parts I didn't. It's a 2.5 for me.
Okay. Yep.
I
Yep.
wouldn't recommend this to people, to be honest.
Okay.
Um, it's not. It doesn't have enough for me. Like I said, to me, it's not an action movie, and I'm not a big fan of just action for sake of action.
Okay.
There's a lot more. I think there's a lot more to do with Planet of the Apes. Like the first wasn't an action movie. It was all about. Well, the first one, even though it was on Earth to begin with, but it was all about how apes are like humans and how they're becoming to be humans, and it's all about a commentary of human evolution and like now this one's about religion and that sort of stuff. Like I think there's lot to be said. Why is it just another action movie?
Okay. Fair. 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 Yeah. Yeah.
Two and a
It's,
half.
it's better than I thought you'd like it. So
Yeah, it
that's
looked same to be honest.
yeah.
When I saw all the trailers and everything, I'm like, this is gonna be fucking not great. But it was not great, but it was not bad either.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's sink our teeth into Abigail, which is after a group of criminals kidnap the ballerina daughter of a powerful underworld figure. They retreat to an isolated mansion, unaware that they're locked inside with no normal little girl. Bom, bom, boom. Uh, Interestingly enough, Abigail is the girl that played Matilda.
Yes, it is.
Hmm. I didn't know that until like I looked at the poster, and the poster doesn't
Hmm.
you can't really see her face that well. That I was like, oh,
No,
that's Matilda. But when I looked
and
up the
me, I didn't know until
cast,
I watched it.
yeah,
Oh, sure, look at the cast. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, when I looked up the cast, I was like, ah, you're the girl that played Matilda.
yeah.
And she did awesome in Matilda. I think she does a great job in this. Like
She's pretty okay.
like
Yeah, it's a comedy, so
like like child actors. Most of the time they're not great. I think
yeah,
she's quite good. Quite good.
yeah. The parts I don't like is when she's being a vampire, she looks really fucking silly. But at times, like the same thing with Exorcist and stuff, like having children pretend to be scary sometimes comes across a little silly.
I
But
think I think she was meant to. Like she's
yeah,
1,000-year-old vampire or whatever.
yeah,
Like she does pretty well when she's like trapped in a child body. Like I always wondered what that would be like for
right.
someone. Like because your body's not going to age because you're a vampire, but like your mind and everything because you're getting older and older. Do they still
Hmm.
want the same things that like say as you get older someone would want, but you're in a child body?
Well, the question is, I guess, are you stuck at that like stage? Are you stuck in puberty?
But like
Like,
I don't know. I guess the
how
experiences and
does your
stuff
body
makes you
still
older,
age?
but like vampires
Yeah, but
aren't
I
meant to
mean,
age.
but there's still a lot of like your chemistry is different when you're going through puberty. Like the way that adolescent thinks is extremely different to how an adult thinks because of like their brain chemistry. It's not just lived experience.
Yeah, but does a vampire have brain chemistry?
Yeah,
Like they're not
I don't
going
know.
to. You're not getting blood pumped around the body.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I guess these are the questions that we
I
ask
guess,
for
I guess
for a
they
fictional
bleed.
being.
I guess they bleed. So, like, well, in
Yeah,
this they bleed.
they bleed in this, but just because they bleed doesn't mean. Oh, I guess so, because a dead body doesn't bleed.
No,
There's no blood pumping it out.
I've never actually thought about this for a vampire.
Yeah, there is a question because that's what questions asking back when we watched Twilight and shit. It's like, are these guys just stuck in puberty forever? Is that how it works?
Yeah, like I don't know. It's I don't know. It's interesting. So this starts off as your normal like heist film. So you've got
Hmm.
your main people, and each of these people have a different role, and they're all pretty stereotypical, like in their roles. Like you got the muscle, you've got the tech
Yeah.
nerd, you've got the etc. And then they
Yep.
tried to
Getaway driver, the sniper.
yeah,
Yeah.
all your different people. Where I was like, oh,
Hmm.
this is going to be a long what hour and a half, hour and 50 minutes, where we're just running stereotypical people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do the
Well, I loved
kidnap.
him.
Yeah, we do the kidnap, and we get into the mansion, and then from the mansion, it starts to. They've done really well with a small cast. Like I was going,
Hmm.
oh, this could be terrible. Each
Yep.
person is they branch out more than just their stereotypical role, where they're like, you're the getaway driver, you're the this, you're that. You get to understand the character's motives. You get a few twists and turns, like, did he do this? Are you the one that's doing like the switch? Like what's happening? Like there's a little bit
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
mystery in it, which I was surprised about. I wasn't expecting a mystery to be happening. Like who's the double agent? I was just expecting her to like run through everybody and eat. Like that's what I expected.
Yeah.
There's some horror aspects to it. There's also some comedy aspects to it. Like it's not just
Yeah.
delving into straight horror, which I'm kind of
No.
glad they didn't. Like if it was just straight
100%.
horror, I'd be like this is average.
If it
But
tried to be just scary, because it's not scary at all, but if it tried to be just scary, it wouldn't have been anywhere near as good.
no. So
Like
like
a lot of what made because you when it's a comedy horror, you excuse a lot of the dumb horror as like it's funny.
yeah,
And like the dumb horror in this is like, yeah, it's funny. Like,
yeah,
I can laugh at it without laughing at it, you know?
yeah. There is also some oh yeah, like comedy side. There's some over the top gore. So they
Yes,
show
definitely.
which is fun. I quite like it. I don't mind
Yeah.
if you're gonna dial in comedy and you want to dial in over the top horror gore, like go for it.
Hmm.
Like I think
Hmm.
that's what made this. If they didn't have those aspects, this would have been a very
Yeah.
different review. So
And it's gore in like it's not trying to be so a lot of gore like Saw, right? It's trying to be like shock factor. Whereas I think the gore kind of lends to the comedy. Like there's a scene with her literally dancing with a headless corpse. Like, it's not done in a way that's meant to be like, oh, that's so disgusting. It's done in a way like, oh, that's funny, disgusting.
yeah, it's also not overused. Like they show an arm that's regenerating, like all those things that actually work into the story. It's not just here's a scene, here's over the top gore, here's the next
Yep.
scene. Like it
Yep.
feels like they used it well and it actually worked into
Hmm.
the story. So Abigail is a vampire. All of a sudden, they work out that she is the daughter of the top crime person who's really mysterious, which is fine. They don't delve into why until
Yeah, it's unnecessary.
you get a reveal, which is fun.
Hmm.
It's the interactions with all the characters and them interacting with a vampire. I found some scenes really funny and other scenes where I was like, ah, okay, hope you get eaten. There was also inconsistencies, like when one guy gets stabbed through the quad, and then like
Oh yeah.
you wouldn't be able to put pressure on it, and
No,
then
God no.
he's just able to walk with like a slight limp.
It
That
was a slight
sometimes,
limp. Yeah, yeah, like he
sometimes
stubbed his toe.
yeah, like sometimes you're like, oh, did you even get stabbed through the leg? Because he's like running.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh, okay. There's even
Adrenaline, mate.
yeah, there's even inconsistencies where like she's a 1,000 year vampire where she's like, you got to spend generations getting to do all the cool shit, and then all of
Hmm.
a sudden someone gets turned and is like, he's too powerful. I'm like, how's he more powerful that he's only
Yeah,
recently turned, and you're this
yeah,
1,000 year old vampire that's meant to have all these cool abilities? So there's like there is inconsistencies with it, and I
of
think that was
course.
just to set up like Joey being your main character, like
Yeah,
your
yeah.
main, which
I
I was
hated her at first, by the way.
I think that was intentional though. Like she was meant to be guarded and unlikable. She was there to do a job, and that was it.
Yeah, but she was very unlikable and different. Like I just found her fucking annoying and boring.
I thought that was meant to be intentional.
Yeah, there's I think there's intentional in like, oh, they're guarded, like they're mysterious, but then there's like I don't like that. I don't like her on every scene I see her in. She's annoying.
Oh, well,
Ugh.
she's in
Pardon me.
Scream. She plays Sam Carpenter in Scream, and she plays a very similar character.
Right.
So I thought she's all right.
Who was your favorite character though?
Who was my favorite?
Yeah.
I didn't really settle on a heap of favorite ones,
Oh,
but
really?
my favorite scenes were with Peter.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Peter is fucking hilarious. Who is the he played Proximus Caesar in Kingdom
yeah,
Planet of the Apes.
yeah,
Peter Durand.
yeah.
He's great. Sorry, Kevin Durand. He's really fucking funny in this.
I think it's the dry humor and like the lack of
Yeah.
facial features, which like really sell
It's
it.
good comedic timing. Like there's a lot I forget who it was. It's the comedian who plays Jason Mendoza in Good Place.
Yeah,
He once said like comedy to be good at comedy requires more intelligence than to be good at any other like, any other fucking genre because it's
yeah,
so much about comedic timing and how to actually deliver things. Like if you think you're funny, you're not funny. And I think
yeah,
he hits it on the nail head here he hits the nail on the head here as well, Kevin, with his fucking hilarious, like genuinely great.
yeah. It was good fun. Ah, so I don't know about the vampire design. It felt like a mix between a vampire and exorcist. Exorcist.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep calling her a vampire when I wouldn't have immediately thought that this person looks like a vampire.
No, she was like more monstery than vampire,
Hmm.
rather than your standard two fang. It was like all fangs.
Yeah,
Like I don't know.
around and they're like, okay, what do you know about
Couldn't
vampires?
couldn't hear you.
And like we know that they go they need steaks to the heart. We know they don't like garlic. Like they're going through all the list. Um, and then they're like, this is not fucking real. Like they're just sort of going through all the movie tropes of what vampires don't do and don't do, and yeah, they're also in denial as even a vampire. Like that was fun. It was a fun scene.
Yeah, even the conversion started real quickly. Like they were like, if I get bitten, oh, that was self-aware. Like that
Yeah.
first transformation is like, if I get bitten, do I turn into a vampire?
Uh-huh.
And then
Maybe. She said
happens,
maybe.
it happens so quick.
Yeah, it happened so quick for one character, but he also drank the blood. I think if you it's like there's a bit of a trope, if you drink the blood of the vampire, then you also become a
I thought,
vampire rather
I
than
thought
just
that
a
was so you weren't like a minion, like you had full autonomy or whatever they said.
yeah, pretty
Where like
much.
she was, she had to mimic the dance moves and stuff. Like I don't know if that was a
Yeah, she was like a slave because
yeah,
Abigail spoke through her,
yeah.
through Sammy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if that was intentional. They were like, yeah, you're free, and that was why he was more powerful. I don't know.
Yeah, I think because you drink the blood of the vampire,
Okay,
that's also another thing in other vampire movies as well. Like you've got to drink the blood of the vampire in order to become a vampire, not just be bitten. Be bitten, you may or may not turn. I don't know. There's different rules, different vampires, of course, but
true. Who knows?
this was Angus Cloud's last movie because at the end they had
Last.
like a little like in memory of because he died of drug overdose.
Oh, really?
The getaway driver.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, not that I really knew him much before this, but he was decent. He was pretty funny in this.
Yeah, it was good.
Mm.
It was good. Overall, like it was an enjoyable movie. Much better
Yeah,
than I thought it was going to be. I was
it
like,
was probably my favorite thing I watched this week.
yeah, I was like, oh, this is going to be terrible. But it
Mm.
was far better. Oh, no way. I just on IMDb, I just saw that Anne Rice's Interview with a Vampire new season is on AMC.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't know. I remember that.
My problems with this were the same as my problems with Kingdom. It eventually just became another action movie,
Okay. Yeah.
and like the first half of this, I think, wait, was more enjoyable because it was more about like the characters and more about the discovery of the vampire, and it wasn't just action scenes.
Yep, for the
Whereas then
sake
this
of action.
eventually, yeah, like this. I said it before, like I'm sick of fucking horrors. Just we need it. When the end needs to be an action climax, and that's what
Yep.
this became. Like the last act was just this big action fight scene.
Yeah, fair.
It felt
Fair.
really silly, but you know that's where my problems lie. It became quite generic by the end, but beginning's pretty interesting. And like I didn't know that this was a vampire story going into it. So
Oh,
like all I ever saw was a little video on TikTok that was like, we have to survive the night or whatever. And if they survive the night, they get money. I thought it was more like a game show sort of thing.
well, there you go.
Um, so not going into this, not knowing what Abigail was and stuff was a pretty fun discovery. Like I intentionally wanted to steer clear of spoilers.
Hmm.
I like I liked that, discovering stuff as you're meant to. Because these days, every fucking movie that I learn about the reveal too early.
Hmm.
And yeah, I had a better time because I got to sort of discover that Abigail was a vampire and stuff the same time that the characters did. So
Yeah, sweet.
yeah,
Yeah, interesting.
didn't hate
What,
it.
what would you give it?
Like a three,
Yep.
close to a 3.5,
Yep. Yeah.
but
Okay.
I mean like
Mine,
a 3.3.
okay. Mine's a three. I had a good time. I had a good
Yeah,
time. Much better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be another like average horror film, but
yeah,
pleasantly
that was pretty
surprised.
funny. I
Yeah.
laughed more in this than the other movies, and it felt the shortest. It was the shortest, but also felt the shortest. It felt like half the length of Kingdom. I got kind of bored of Kingdom
Okay.
in
Yeah.
in moments. Same with Ministry, but put that in a second. But yeah, it
Yep.
wasn't bad. I had a pretty
Yeah.
fun time.
Yep. Sweet. All right. Well, let's move on to Guy Ritchie's newest one. We've pretty much watched a lot of Guy Ritchie. The Guy
Yes.
Ritchie has been a bit hit and miss for us. So obviously, The Gentleman was great.
Yep.
And then what was his war one? The
The
Covenant?
Covenant. Yep.
Covenant.
Guy
Yep.
Ritchie's The Covenant.
Yeah. I didn't mind it. Didn't mind it.
Yeah.
It was reasonable. And
It had parts.
uh then what did we have? We had what else have we seen of his lately?
In Pod.
Yeah,
Uh
Argyle.
oh yeah. I feel about
Yeah,
that movie. That was
yeah,
fucking bad. That was
yeah.
really bad.
Um, yeah, I felt there was
Was
some.
that him?
I'm pretty sure that was him, Guy
All right.
Ritchie.
Yeah,
Was it
right. There
not?
you go. Fair enough.
It was Guy Ritchie,
Covenant.
and also
No,
no,
it's not in his directed list.
is it not? Who was Argyle then? I might
I don't
be
remember.
getting. I think Henry Cavill. I might be getting confused with here. Oh no, that was Matthew Vaughn Vorg. But
No.
Henry Cavill was in it.
Yeah, Henry Cavill did it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's different.
yeah. I'm aware.
We watched Operation Fortune ages ago.
Yeah.
That's what
I
we
think
watched of his
I think
recently.
that's what I'm getting confused with because Operation Fortune and Argyle are
Yeah,
pretty
it's
much just
similar.
similar.
Yeah, bunch of actors thrown in a movie.
Yeah. Um, yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
we watched his most four recent movies in Pod. His most
yeah,
four recent creations in Pod.
yeah,
Yeah, and Gentleman's good, and the rest were average at best.
yeah.
And this is another one of them. Spoilers.
Oh. So, yeah. So the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is the
Hmm.
British military recruits a small group of highly skilled soldiers to strike against German forces behind the enemy lines during World War II, which is based on the true story because we get the end credits where you get the actual people.
Yep.
Also, the main guy, Gus March Phillips, is apparently rumored to be what they based James Bond's
James Bond.
character on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Intriguing.
yeah, so I'm just trying to work out exactly what the mission is called because it's annoying me that I can't find what this is based on. It's
Right.
Operation. I know it's meant to be like post something. It's like letter delivery something or other, and it's annoying me. So, but anyway, I'll find that in a sec. This has got Henry Cavill. It's got Alan Richardson, who is my favorite in the film. I think he's underutilized in the film.
Operation Postmaster.
Postmaster, that's it. I knew it was post something. Uh, I found Henry Cavill kind of. I didn't like him in this. I didn't like him.
Oh, he's been really miss recently.
Yeah, like him as Superman. I thought he was great, and as the Witcher, great. And
Hmm.
then in Argyle, I found him really boring. I found him boring in
Incredibly.
this.
Yeah, same.
Like he,
Considering James Bond to be based on his character, I was like, why? I wouldn't base shit on this character. I'm sure the real person's way more interesting.
yeah, I don't know. He felt bland. I don't know if it was
Very.
intentional or if it was like whatever.
But next to
So
the rest of the cast, like you've got an explosive expert, you've got fucking guy, oh not Guy Ritchie, what's his name? Um,
Alan Richardson.
Alan Richardson. You got him fucking stealing the show.
Yeah.
It's like acting next to John Cena. Like you got there's all these characters in this that are so fucking fun, and you've got him who's just like nothing. He's such a boring main character.
Yeah, and he's meant to be like the cool, calm operator. He just didn't come across. He was just like
Hmm.
with a mustache, and then he was like, "Here, take the limelight." It was weird.
Yeah, it could have been literally any actor,
Yeah,
and it would have been just the same.
but Alan Richardson, he's so fun. Old Thad Castle,
Yeah,
also Reacher. He's also
yeah.
he's also massive. He's
Oh,
massive
he's
in
huge.
this,
He's so great in this. He's so funny.
right?
Like there are moments where I feel like this is trying to be um Inglorious Bastards,
Yeah,
but he's the character that made it feel like a Guy Ritchie movie to me. Like he's just so over the top and silly, and yeah, every scene that he wasn't in, I wanted more of him. You know, like he was just great.
I didn't mind. What's her name? It's
Liza
Ela.
Gonzalez,
Yeah,
Isa Gonzalez, not
Liza.
Liza.
Yeah, she was
She
really
was
good.
great.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Those, yeah. So Alan Richardson and her were by far the
Yep,
best in this. And each of those
I agree.
scenes, I was like, yeah, I'm dialed in. The rest of it was like, give or take. I don't care.
She's in your favorite movie, Baby
In my,
Driver.
I, yeah, I didn't mind Baby Driver. It's just his name it
What's
annoys
his
me.
name? His name's stupid.
It is stupid.
It's not. It's
It
perfect.
is. Nope.
Makes the most sense.
Nope. 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 Nope.
Yeah, she did great. I think that I initially was worried she was, again, just there because she's attractive, but she every scene because a lot of the scenes that she was in, it was just sort of her and like bad guys,
Yeah, but
but she held it
that was her role though. Like her role was
literally, yeah,
to infiltrate and
distract, and
yeah, and
she did
I
a really
think
good job.
she did awesome. And even
Yeah.
like I felt um concerned for her as well when the German officer was like, what
Hmm.
she used the Jewish word or whatever it was, the
Yep.
like she slipped up in her song, and then it was like,
Flemish.
yeah, I was like, oh, you're in trouble, no,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
I wanted him to save her, and
Yeah.
then yeah, and then old Thad Castle, Alan's this with a bow. Like I was like, this is over the
It
top.
is. Yeah. His
When I
line delivery
first
is really
saw it,
good as well.
when I first saw him with
Sorry.
a bow, I was like, this is ridiculous. And then it kept
Yeah.
going, and I was like, I'm actually
I'm
dialed
on
in for
board.
this.
Yeah. He's real funny. But again, like when you've got people like those two just killing it, everybody else was so unexciting.
Yeah, it was boring for the most part. It was
Even like the side
stylized.
characters, like uh the prince, I can't remember his name now, but the prince of where they were at.
Uh,
Um, he was like cranked up as well and real
yeah,
funny and over the top and ridiculous. Like all the characters felt really fun and unrealistic fun, which is pretty tough in a movie that's like meant to be embedded in the truth. But yeah, that's it. Just makes Henry Cavill's character feel like such a nothing.
right. He was. I feel like he was barely in it.
Mm, considering his
Like,
main character.
yeah, it was weird. Obviously, they go over the top, and it's got very plot armor. I'll save you. Where they've got the machine gun, and he's like, "Get down!" And then all of a sudden, they could shoot everything and miss all of the main characters.
Yeah, I know.
Like it happened a few times. Like
Yeah,
that's fine, but I don't know.
it's fine. I mean, what else are you gonna do in a fucking? It's still like yes, it's based on a true story, but it's still gonna be a fucking action movie.
Yeah,
Like they're gonna do all these stupid bits and pieces.
yeah. It's weird. Like I didn't hate this film, but I didn't like it at the same time.
I'm exactly the same. I'm right in the middle with my rating as well. Because like, yeah, it's not terrible. Like there are parts in the Covenant. The whole end of Covenant was some of the dumbest scenario I've seen ever. And like it ruined the rest of the movie for me. Whereas this is just like it's fine. There's no
Yeah,
stakes. Like there's no point where I'm like, oh, will they, won't they? Like it's just there's no stakes the whole way through. It's just another action movie, but there are moments of actual fun. I didn't hate it as much as a lot of other action shit we watch.
yeah. Well, I don't know if you're telling this, which is a really cool story from World War Two, like the operation.
Mhm.
You, I don't know if this was the right choice to make it like a just an action comedy because there's another telling of this operation, but it's told through like the political side where
Okay.
you don't see the war
All
happening. You
right.
actually just see the moving pieces of everyone behind the scenes because you know how the prime minister's in there and he's like, oh, you're working for me, and then you've got the two army officers that are like at each other. He's like, stand down.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So it tells the story of like all those moving pieces, which is interesting. Like
Which is yeah, for sure.
it's a
Because I
bit
would have
slow,
liked to
but
know more about that.
it's interesting. But like this was over the top some comedy aspects, and I don't know that the comedy aspects really are going to work in telling a true story of like this magnitude. Like I don't
Yeah.
know if
Or
you
try to
you
make an action movie when, like I said before, like the whole, like you mentioned, the scene of them infiltrating and rescuing that guy. I don't know if that was true. And if it was, I'm sure that five people didn't take down fucking 150 whoever it was. Like it was pretty stupid.
yeah, like I don't know. I don't know if a true story retelling is the way to go for this. Like you could have come up with a loosely based story on some other aspect. I don't know. I don't know. It
Yeah.
was
Because the best part for me was the the post or the credits, the pre-credits, like, the pictures of the real people and telling me, like, I literally wrote my notes. Uh the best part were the pre-credits, where are they now? Because
yeah,
that was the most interesting part because I want to know more about the true story. Like this makes me want to go on YouTube and learn about the actual real story because
yeah,
this was just a bland fucking movie.
yeah. Besides the two, like Richardson
Yes,
and Gonzalez,
Gonzalez.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
Isa.
besides them, I didn't care for this at all. I was
Definitely.
like, oh, cool.
Definitely.
Like they steal the
That
show.
guy was cool.
Yeah, but he plays a good bad guy all the time.
Yeah, yeah. He was a good guy in Inglorious Bastards. He was one of like one of
Yeah,
the one of the actual bastards.
yeah, but he was kind of like there by chance. Where if he wasn't in that group, he'd be a bad guy.
Yeah, well, he was ex-Nazi as well. He was
Yeah,
part of his character in Inglorious Bastards was that
yeah,
he had changed sides.
bad guy.
Yeah, true. Ex bad guy, at
Yeah,
least.
played a bad guy. It was
But
on
yeah, there's a lot of
description.
moments in this where I'm like, oh, this really wants to be Inglorious Bastards,
Yeah. Lots of people have just said this is Inglorious Bastards too, but not as good.
but not nowhere near as good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nowhere near as like stylish and creative and
No,
interesting.
like it looked good. Like Guy Ritchie made a good looking film, just didn't have a lot of substance. So,
Sometimes it was
uh,
lit like shit. The whole like end action scene when they're walking around and they're, like at night and stuff. So much you couldn't actually fucking see.
yeah, but whatever. It's the same. Like I had the same complaint about House of Dragons when they were on the
I
beach,
know.
and it was like you couldn't see anything, and you were like, "Nah, that
That's
was
real soon, by
intentional."
the way.
Yeah,
House of Dragon season 2 comes out like next month.
yeah.
July, June. It's real
That's
soon.
that's why I brought it up. See.
Yeah, sure you did.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Calm down.
No.
Open your eyes, mate.
Open
Look,
your eyes.
look. I was bored majority of the film until you have those two characters. Their scenes are great. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's worth like watching it just for their scenes. If you want to see more of Alan Richardson, watch either Blue Mountain State or Reacher. Reacher is fantastic. If you've
I've never
seen
watched
it,
it.
no. It's the new telling of Jack Reacher, which I think Tom Cruise played Reacher in the movie, and then he
Is it
does it.
comedy?
Uh,
Is it just action?
it's action with some Alan Richardson line deliveries where he's playing more of a tough guy, but his line delivery is like tough guy funny.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone I've
Because
recommended it
I
to.
think he's way better at comedy. Like his action in this is fine, but his character was so he's meant to be so calm that when his action scenes just walking from like from spot to spot, it suited the character, I guess, but it wasn't like if I had to watch that for an entire series, I wouldn't be that interested. But his comedy's what he did well in this.
Yeah, yeah. Aaron, he's great. He's great.
That's fair.
That Castle. Yeah, I don't know what I'd give this. I think it's got to be like a two. Two.
Yeah, I'm at 2.5.
Yeah.
It's nearly recommendable. I think to some, I was actually should have mentioned to our mate Grads yesterday when we were hanging out that it's probably up his alley because it's a World War II retelling. But yeah, 2.5. It's probably the least entertaining thing I watched this week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fair. It just, I don't know. It wasn't, I don't know. It was missing. It was missing the magic. Henry Cavill,
Magic.
you got to step your game up, mate. You can't just coast now. You've blew onto the scene, and now you just, I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know what Guy Ritchie's doing. Like he's not a bad director. He's made like I've said I always reference them, but Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch are two of my favorite movies. They're in my both of them are probably in my top 20 movies,
Yeah,
and he's capable. Uh, The Gentleman was a really fun series. He needs to come down and do like I think it's the same thing with The Covenant as well. He needs to stick to what he's good at, and he's good at those stories. The following the criminals, doing dumb criminal things, lovable characters, heart of gold, but also bad people. This is just such a boring fucking action movie
yeah.
with
Okay.
some moments. Like I said, I would watch this again for all the Alan Ritson and Isa Gonzalez scenes.
Yeah,
Like it almost makes actually, you know what? I'll stick 2.5 because those alone are somewhat worth watching.
yep, yep. Fair,
But yeah,
fair.
the rest is a waste of time.
Yep.
Oh
Yeah,
well,
we just saved 2 hours.
pretty much.
Yep. Next week we've got If, which is the newest Ryan Reynolds imaginary friend. I don't even know what genre it is. I don't know if it's
Family.
comedy or family, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
bit of
And
both.
yeah, and then we've watched her other films. She was the mother. We've got Jennifer
Yep.
Lopez's newest
Jennifer
sci
Lopez.
newest sci-fi action Netflix blockbuster, which is Atlas. We've got Chris Pratt being Chris Pratt in the new Garfield movie. Like I highly doubt he'll do a voice. He might do like one word or two.
No, it's
That's
gonna sound
actually
like Mario. It's gonna
yeah,
sound like Star Lord, what the fuck his name is. It's gonna sound any different.
yep. And if we can get to the movies, because Mad Max Furiosa comes out as
Oh,
well this week,
so keen.
I don't know if I'll get there, but Who knows? We'll
That's
see.
fair.
We'll see.
I'm so fucking excited.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard good things. Like some reviews that have come out said it's real good, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've heard don't go into it expecting Fury Road,
Yep.
but yeah, like it's Fury Road's fucking incredible. It's one of my favorite movies. It's
Yep.
easily like top 10, top 15.
It's fair.
Great movie.
Sure. But yeah, that's what we got for you next week. All we ask
Fabulous.
is that if you're on Spotify, give us a 5-star rating. You're on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you want us to watch anything, hit that Discord link and join us in the Discord. Otherwise, you can see us
Hell yeah.
live on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Twitch and TikTok if you like some Valorant. Get on board, and we'll see you guys next time.
Tell your friends.
Tell all your friends, boys.
Love yous.